let's talk about cults. Who wants Kool-Aid?
I mean, let's talk about cult classics. They are defined as some pieces of media, often visual, that gain popularity with a small yet passionate audience. From TV, movies, and even video games. You can definitely find those that didn't quite hit as big on its initial release, but you likely heard about it from somewhere. Which, of course, leads us to today's review on the cult classic video game, Psychonauts. Psychonauts was created in 2005 by Double Fine Productions, who are made up of old LucasArts members, and was produced by Majesco Entertainment. The game, at its initial release, was given positive reviews, however, it sold poorly and was considered a commercial flop. Which I can only guess it's because it looked too much like Babby Game and not enough food.
The game, of course, gained a cult following over the years, and it came to the point where it actually got a digital re-release. And that will be the version I'm going to be playing today. Now, it's time to see if this game is worth the praise. Let's make a mental dive and dive right in, shall we?
The story takes place in...
I can't see through these things.
The game takes place in Whispering Rock's summer camp, a US government facility to train young psychics to become a special type of agent known as the Psychonauts. The camp is led by Coach Oleander here, a man who is slowly becoming the first human triangle, who is joined by top agents of the field, Sasha 9 and Milivadello. That's her name. As they orient the campers. This is where our hero comes in. He's right over, oh God, where'd you go? Where are you, kid? Up there you are! This plucky little child is known as Rasputin.
But everybody calls me Raz.
I like this kid. A young acrobat with powerful psychic abilities, he ran from the circus in order to become a psychonaut himself. But since he doesn't have a filled out permission slip, he needs to leave. Not that easy. We still got a game left. So, Daddy Dears is coming to get us in a day, and we need to become a psychonaut before then, while at the same time uncovering a nefarious plot for world domination.
So from my understanding, it's like you gotta become an Eagle Scout by tomorrow, while at the same time trying to stop a James Bond villain scheme. This is gonna get weird, isn't it?
Well, since we talked about the story, let's move on to the writing, cause it's good. Coming from LucasArts Entertainment, it's no surprise that the writing is witty and weird. It helps make every character, even the most minor of them, become memorable and very interesting. Like, name me another game that has tiny anthropomorphic lungfish that are trying to start a revolution. Yeah, that's right. Blue's Clues Blues Big Musical.
Why, you guys don't remember that? They were the best part of that game. Especially when they brutally stabbed the mailbox. Gotta tell you guys, the last thing I thought a mailbox would be made of was blood. So much blood.
Where was it? Oh yeah, characters. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like them. Especially Raz. Just a lovable dork who tries to act cool and generally is an optimistic and nice kid. Yeah, most of the time. Also to note that he's voiced by Richard Horvis, who you just might recognize.
They may come for me, Dogen, but they'll be looking for Raz, the boy. What they're going to find, what they don't expect, is Raz, the Psychonaut.
Oh, look! It's Santa! Santa Claus!
But the writing is only half of what makes these characters so memorable. It's also the art design. All the characters have a very geometric style that helps not only to divert everyone in the game, but also helps to give a sort of demented cartoon vibe a la 2000s kid shows like Invader Zim and Billy and Mandy. I mean, look at this kid! Looks like a garbage pail lid. And this kid looks like he can wrap his neck around my neck. And Jesus Christ, what is wrong with your gums? Also want to talk about the levels art design. Of course, since the game is about going through the minds of others, it's no wonder that the levels you go through are very topsy-turvy in their designs. From the perfectly cube design of Sasha's shooting gallery to the groovy psychedelic nature of Milla's dance party. And the interesting fusion of the
Music.
The best way I can describe the soundtrack is that it's fitting and recognizable. Like, they're made to set the tone of the level you're in, but it has a very unique and strange personality that you can play almost any song and I'll be able to recognize that it's from this game. But the songs that really stuck out for me were the Badge Required theme, Happy Flowers, and the transition. The game itself is a platformer, with the main focus being on traveling into the minds of different people, where you can jump, climb, and fight inside these strange mental worlds. The game also takes advantage of Raz's acrobatic skills, so you're gonna do a lot of swinging and tightrope walking to your heart's content. Just don't go into the water, cause he can't swim. It's explained that Raz's family has a gypsy curse cast on them. That states that they will all die in water, which, by the way, I just love when games straight up explain why the hell water is a hazard. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed. And of course, because the game is called Psychonauts, Raz has a mental breakdown every 10 seconds. I mean, he has the brain powers. Raz has a slew of different psychic abilities that he gains throughout the game, which is helpful for solving puzzles and defeating different enemies. Some examples being the power to mentally grab and throw things, a levitation ball which makes you jump higher and descend slower, light and on fire, and mind bullets! Raz can also level up his psychic powers and gain more health by gathering different collectibles that are scattered around the area. These range from figments of people's imagination, mental cobwebs, which require an item that you need to get from the shop, which you pay with arrowheads that you find in enemies and even in the ground. Also scattered around these levels are these crying bags that you need to find their respective tags that are called emotional baggage.
Oh! Fuck you, that's clever!
And you can find these memory vaults running around that host a sort of slideshow that gives some background on the person we're currently in. It helps flesh out both the characters and story, while at the same time explain why these mental worlds are like they are. Speaking of mental worlds, these are considered the levels throughout the entire game. They have two types of layouts, a straightforward level where the goal is to get to the end, and a open world level where it's more objective based. And I can truly say without a doubt, these are the best part of the game. The levels themselves are simple in concept, but the game presents them in a very creative way. To give some examples, there's Gloria, an actress suffering from bipolar disorder. So her level's a stage play based on her own life story, which can change from a happy sunshine and rainbows type play to a doom and gloom and try to kill you type play. Then we got Fred here. He thinks he's Napoleon. So because of that, his entire level is trying to gain back control from the miniature man himself. And in order to get back control, you have to cheat at risk. And by cheating at risk, I mean going onto the game board and moving the pieces yourself. Then there's Boyd, whose level is about an intertwined conspiracy that revolves around a dead milkman. And all I can say is, well, his milk is delicious. And of course, I gotta give props to what I believe is the best stage in the entire game, Lungfishopolis. So, trick question. You fight off a giant deformed lungfish at the bottom of the sea, and you go inside its head, what do you think you're gonna see? How about an entire level that has you play out a kaiju film, where you're the monster? God, this level's great. Raz is even in character throughout all of this. We destroy buildings, planes, military vehicles, people. Nothing is sacred. No one is safe. And during this rampage, we're helping out a group of freedom fighters. That's right, not only are we destroying the city, we're liberating it. I don't know how that's gonna help anything, but you know, baby steps. Another thing I love about this level is that you get these broadcasts, and most of them just slander the hell out of you. Apparently I'm on drugs now. Nice. And at the end of the level, of course, you gotta fight another giant monster. Ultraman! You see this dude? This guy? He names all of his attacks.
Deadly Triangle Beam! Overly intricate combination! Hard to avoid! Area attack!
This game is great. In fact, a lot of these levels are great. They're visually interesting and provide a very fair and fun challenge to play through. Well, except for the Except for the Except for the
Oh, hello there. Didn't see you. Oh, this? Oh, I'm just in my meditation corner. You see, I need to be in a zen-like state in order to tackle this next part, which also happens to be a spoiler for the end of the game. So, if you do not wish to be spoiled, head to this timestamp in the video, and I swear to God timestamp, if you're not in that direction when I open my eyes, heads will roll! Perfect. This time in the video. And now, I will begin preparations for my meditation. You see, I have my incense. Did I just say incest? My incense. And of course, my totem. You complete me. And so, we begin with a little bit of breathing. First, breathe in.
Screw Meat Circus. Ah, the infamous last level of the game. I have heard horror stories about this one. Now, to be clear, I am playing the Steam version, which actually dumbed down the difficulty from the original. But yet then, this is still the worst level in the game. Alright, let's start with some context. Triangle Man? Bad. Plots to try to take over the world using brain tanks. Shenanigans ensue, and now our brains have been mixed together, creating a level that fuses the bad memories of both Raz and Oleander, ergo, Meat Circus. But you know, let's start with some positives, because I actually got a few. Like the music. Like I said before, it's both fitting and memorable. I think the concept is pretty cool, and the story-wise, it's got some really good moments, especially when Raz reunites with his dad. It was a pretty sentimental scene. Now for the rant! First off, let's just talk about what you do in the level exactly. Like, the first objective is an escort mission! Yay! You gotta bring Triangle Man as a kid to his bunny before he gets killed, and if he gets killed, you get killed. And I can safely say this is truly number 43 in the list of video game sins. The second half of this level is a platforming section, and that can go to a special kind of hell. But I'll explain why in a little bit, so... Other things in this level are the bosses, which just take way too long. Especially the last part, which is literally a waiting game. And no one shuts up for 10 seconds.
Help! Ah! My face!
Don't run, or else Daddy's gonna kill you. Don't run, coming. Kill you like puppies.
Shut up, shut up, shut up!
second thing I want to talk about is the controls. Cause what the fuck happened? I never had an issue with the controls until this level. Half the time the jump button doesn't even register, which would have been a pain, but not too much of a pain, if it weren't for the second part platforming challenge, where you have to make quick and precise jumps to get through it, with a giant death pit at the bottom that is slowly rising. Look at this. Look at this bullshit. I made that. And oh, thank God for the Steam version of this. Because you don't die when you fall off into the water, and I fell so many times. But all of those are just small little issues that are part of the big problem of this level. Because this level goes against everything the game has taught us at this point. I can say that the game for the most part is a very casual game. It's more about trying to figure out how to get through the levels at your own pace, and having you be free to explore the world around you. But here, you have no time to look. You gotta move with the artificial death timers. Don't explore, don't just stand there, you're on the clock! Move it, fat boy! You're not allowed to appreciate this level like the other levels. And because of that, it sours what could have been a really cool ending to a really cool game.
Whew! That was something. Luckily, nothing bad happened during that seg. Why is there ketchup on my hands?
And even if I have some issues, I really enjoyed the game. And I can see why it gets so much praise. From the characters, the writing, the abilities you get, the level design. It was all just a blast to play. I even discovered new stuff that I didn't even see before my first run. So yeah, it can also be replayable if you give it a shot.
If you haven't played the game, highly recommend. See what you've been missing out all these years. Though, without spoiling anything, I kinda wish there was more. Like, the game ends on a cliffhanger and just kinda sucks that that's it. Because it didn't sell well, won't continue, and, well, guess that'll be the last we see of these guys. Is what I would have said if it weren't for the sequel! Psychonauts 2, baby!
And this seems to be going bigger than the first game, with new powers, weirder levels, Raz has a cool jacket. Needless to say, I'm hyped. Can't wait to give this game a shot, and I hope it's just as good, if not even better than this one. Also to note, there is a VR game that ties the first game and the second game together, but I currently don't own a VR headset, so yeah.
But that's the end of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you wish to see more, and I'll see you on the next video, which will be on something spooky. Not really, no. Until then, I'm gonna go practice my own psychic skills. It's gonna be a psychonaut before then. Alright guys, here we go. Yes. Yes. I can feel it. I can feel the cosmos. Everything. I can feel power coming through. Ultimate power.